Hi everyone, Jackie Fleischman here, your premier resource to unleash your inner confidence, find your voice in negotiation, conflicts as they come up at work, or other tough and challenging situations as they come up in your professional life. I wanted to take a few minutes today to talk about the 7 things that I can think of we can learn from politicians. And actually, when I think about it, there are also some CEOs of publicly traded companies and even smaller private ones that exude and have these same traits. The most iconic one that comes to mind, of course, is Steve Jobs, who could command the engagement of audiences nationwide and across the world. So as we watch the 2020 US presidential election, as we watch it get off to an early start, and as a large number of Democratic contenders announced their candidacy for the party's nomination in July 2020, I thought this would be a good opportunity to look at some of the things they do really well. There is no shortage of personalities in this race, but here's what I want you to take away. Because love them or hate them, and I'm not putting them on a special pedestal. I just want to point out what they do really well and how we can adapt it to our own corporate lives. Love them or hate them, politicians have skills that the rest of us could really adapt and benefit from. So here are the 7 things I see that they do really well at the national level. Number 1. Many politicians are subject matter experts. Politicians have to be well versed on any number of issues, from immigration and privacy laws to taxation, healthcare, education, name your issue, security, foreign policy. It is so wide-ranging and it's a lot to remember. Granted, they have teams of people helping them sift through vast amounts of information, but remember, at the end of the day, the politician stands on the podium alone, especially during the debates. Number 2, they understand the policies from a multidimensional point of view. Even though politicians have their own views and their position on a particular policy, they have to be prepared to counter the opponent's view, which means they have to understand it from the other person's perspective, not unlike in a negotiation. And not unlike in a negotiation, number 3, they are really skilled at anticipating objections and where they're going to get pushback from. Number 4, they know their audience really, really well. Messaging is carefully crafted to persuade and influence both direct supporters and potential supporters in the hopes of attracting the highest number of votes. From practiced body language that emphasizes confidence and magnetism to tone of voice for messaging and message delivery, politicians have to be approachable and real. While exuding leadership qualities, they are constantly engaged in calls to action. And yes, they actually do spend time practicing this with teams of people that get it down to a science, even down to what tie they're going to wear for certain rallies, certain meetings, and in the debates. Number 5, they practice debating the strengths and weaknesses of their policy positions all the time. The more practiced they are, the easier it gets, and the more relaxed they can be when they deliver their message. Number 6, they represent a defined set of interests which are consistently balanced against opportunities and creating more value for their voters, especially when they're elected officials and working on legislation. In other words, there are certain PACs or interest groups that support them, and 9 times out of 10, they don't forget about those PACs and those interest groups that put them in power in the first place because they know that that's their ticket to staying in power. And finally, number 7, they understand how to leverage issues with opponents and are so skilled at collaborating with adversaries. Regardless of political stripes, politicians have to collaborate and work with colleagues that they disagree with all the time, even if they don't respect the personalities or current occupants in power. Listen, politicians make mistakes all the time. But what they are really good at is getting up, brushing themselves off, and moving on and getting on with the business of running a campaign and getting elected, They don't let these things get them down. These same skills come into play when you're pitching an idea, you're making an ask, or you're negotiating a contract or a deal, and the outcomes you need are critical to your success. You have to win. Preparation and practice can make all the difference between the outcome you want and the outcome you get. Thank you so much for being here today. If you are watching this video, it means that you subscribe to my newsletter, for which I am deeply grateful. I am so looking forward to bringing you more content, and I encourage you to reach out to me, email me, or you can even send me a quick video question. Are there topics you want me to cover? Are there things that I'm talking about that maybe you don't like, maybe you like? Feedback is absolutely welcome. I look forward to seeing you next time. I wish everybody a great day or a great night. Take care, everyone. See you soon.